The Christmas Truce of 1914 remains one of the most poignant episodes of World War I, showcasing the humanity of soldiers in the midst of horrific violence. In the early days of the war, soldiers on both sides of the Western Front were entrenched in a brutal, stagnant conflict. The trenches were often muddy and overcrowded, with conditions that were both physically and mentally taxing. By December, the soldiers had been enduring months of heavy fighting, and the Christmas season presented a brief respite from the otherwise relentless warfare. On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day of 1914, along parts of the Western Front, German and British soldiers, who had previously been enemies, engaged in an extraordinary series of events. In some areas, troops on both sides spontaneously ceased fire, emerging from their trenches to meet each other in the no-man's land between them. The exchange was marked by mutual recognition of their shared humanity. Soldiers sang Christmas carols, exchanged food, and even played informal games of football. The truce was not universal across the entire front, but where it occurred, it was a temporary cessation of hostilities. The initial moments of this truce were driven by a mixture of goodwill and a desire for a temporary break from the violence. Some soldiers may have seen it as an opportunity to rest, while others believed it to be a natural expression of their shared faith during the holiday season. The troops were also aware of the absurdity of continuing to kill fellow men under such circumstances. However, these moments of camaraderie were short-lived. As the truce ended, orders from higher command instructed the soldiers to resume their fighting. The return to combat was immediate and harsh. Soldiers who had spent hours exchanging gifts and stories were suddenly ordered to fire on one another, resuming the brutal cycle of violence. Many found this emotional transition difficult, as they had just recognized their enemies as individuals with families, homes, and lives, much like themselves. The psychological toll of having to kill those with whom they had shared a human connection was immense. In the aftermath of the truce, the high command on both sides were wary of any further fraternization between soldiers. The Christmas truce was not repeated on the same scale, and the war continued for another 4 years, becoming increasingly brutal. Despite the brutality that followed, the Christmas truce remains a testament to the fleeting humanity that can emerge even in the darkest of times, symbolizing the possibility of peace amidst war's madness.